My name is Ruth Hayes, and for 71 years I lived the way people said I should, quietly, responsibly, giving everything I had to my family. I was a devoted wife to Robert for 46 years, until cancer stole him from me 2 autumns ago. Since then, I've carried the weight of silence in this house we built together. Every creaking floorboard, every faded photograph a reminder that half of me is gone. I am also a mother. Caitlin, my only daughter, was once the center of my world. I raised her through scraped knees and broken hearts, sat through every school play, saved every report card. When she married Jeremy, I welcomed him into this home as if he were my own. I believed that family was unbreakable, that blood, love, and sacrifice meant something. But one evening, as the sun slipped below the horizon and the walls carried voices I wasn't meant to hear, I learned just how wrong I was. She's becoming a burden, Caitlin. Jeremy's smooth voice carried through the thin plaster. You heard what the doctor said. It's only going to get worse. That word, burden, cut through me sharper than any knife. Caitlin's reply came hesitant, conflicted. I know, but she's my mother. She gave everything for us. I can't just throw her in some place. Don't be naive, Jeremy pressed. That house is worth nearly $900,000. Do you want to waste it on medical bills? We could sell it, put her somewhere safe, and finally start our future. The porcelain cup trembled in my hand. They weren't just talking about my care. They were dismantling my life piece by piece, reducing me to an obstacle between them and a pile of cash. After Robert's death, I thought Caitlin would be my anchor. We'd cried together, cooked Sunday dinners, leaned on each other in the silence of grief. But that night, listening in the half-light, I realized those dinners weren't about family. They were rehearsals for betrayal. I didn't weep. Not yet. In that moment, I only listened, memorizing every word as my daughter and her husband planned my exile. And by the time they left for their business trip, my decision was already made. If I was such a burden, I would relieve them of it, not by surrendering to a nursing home, but by taking control in a way they would never forget. The first step was selling the house. My house. The home Robert and I had poured our lives into, the creaky floorboards we'd danced across on anniversaries, the garden he'd tended until cancer stole his strength, the rooms filled with decades of laughter and forgiveness. The realtor was efficient, almost suspiciously so. Within 2 weeks, a cash offer came through, $890,000. I signed the papers with steady hands, though my stomach churned like a storm. When Caitlin returned and found her childhood home sold from under her, she'd know the truth. I wasn't her burden. I was her reckoning. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, knowing that what I was about to order would capture the final act of my revenge. Caitlin and Jeremy were returning on Friday, expecting to find their grateful old mother ready to be managed. Instead, they were going to discover that their burden had become their biggest problem. The search results filled my screen with dozens of surveillance options. After 30 minutes of research, I found what I needed, a wireless mini camera hidden inside what looked like a phone charger. Wi-Fi-enabled, motion-activated, 12-hour battery life, streaming live footage straight to my phone. I ordered it with expedited shipping, paying the extra $40 to guarantee Thursday delivery. With the camera ordered, I turned to the next crucial element, the note that would explain everything to Caitlin and Jeremy when they discovered their keys no longer worked. The first draft was too angry. The second was too cold. By the third, I found the right tone, dignified, but devastating, loving, but final. I wrote in my careful handwriting, the penmanship Robert had always admired. Dear Caitlin and Jeremy, if you're reading this, it means my plan worked perfectly. I heard your phone conversation about putting me in a nursing home because I'm becoming a burden. I heard you calculating how much money you'd make selling my house. The house has been sold for $890,000 cash. The money is safely in my new bank account where it will stay. I've moved to a place where I'm appreciated, not tolerated. Don't worry about me. Worry about your own housing situation. Your belongings have been packed and are being stored at Denver Moving and Storage on Kfax Avenue. You have 30 days to claim them before storage fees begin. I gave you everything I had for 42 years. You repaid me by planning to warehouse me so you could steal my life's work. I hope the lesson was worth the cost. Love, Mom. Thursday morning, the FedEx truck arrived with my surveillance equipment. I spent an hour testing the device. The video was sharp, the audio crisp. Perfect. That afternoon, I drove to my former house for the last time. My hands shook slightly as I approached the front door with my new keys. Inside, the house still smelled like home, Robert's cologne in the closet, lavender sachets in the bedrooms, the faint residue of 25 years of family dinners. But there were new additions: Caitlin and Jeremy's suitcases by the stairs, their mail scattered on the counter. They'd been treating my house as a storage unit while plotting my exile. I positioned the camera by the front door, perfectly angled to capture anyone entering. Then I taped the envelope to the door, where they couldn't miss it. Standing in the living room one final time, I touched the mantel where Robert's photo had sat for 23 years. "It's done, sweetheart," I whispered. Justice served. The next day, I sat in my apartment, phone in hand, watching the empty doorway on my camera feed. 5:15 p.m. Motion detected. A black SUV pulled into the driveway. Caitlin stepped out first. Jeremy followed with the suitcases. I watched as Caitlin fumbled with her keys, confusion turning to frustration, then fear when the lock refused her. Jeremy tried the back door. Nothing. "They're brand new locks," he muttered. "This isn't an accident." Panic spread between them. Caitlin tried calling my landline, already disconnected. Then she remembered I never owned a cell phone. Finally, they climbed in through a window and Caitlin tore the envelope from the door. She opened it with trembling hands, Jeremy reading over her shoulder. Their faces shifted: confusion, shock, disbelief, horror. "She sold the house," Caitlin cried. "How could she do this to us?" Jeremy's mask slipped. That manipulative old woman. She was playing us the whole time. The argument that followed was delicious in its irony. They shouted about money, about betrayal, about being homeless. They turned on each other, blaming, cloying, unraveling. Exactly as they had planned for me. Through my phone screen, I watched until I'd seen enough. Then I turned off the feed. I opened the bottle of Robert's favorite Bordeaux, poured a glass, and raised it toward his photo. "To you, my love." Justice served. The wine tasted like victory. For the first time in 2 years since Robert's death, I felt completely free. I was no longer anyone's burden. I was my own woman again, with my own money, my own choices, and my own future stretching ahead like an open road. Ruth Hayes had left the building, and she was never coming back.